Well, doesn't it? Because she knows women's steeplechase coming up shortly. They're just getting ready in the call-up room. Next on the track is actually the men's 200 meters. A little bit of field to catch up on before we see that. No Chepngetich, incidentally, Beatrice Chepngetich in that. There's Krause there, the medalist from the World Champs last year. Actually, so over to the, well, we're still on the far side of the track. Women's triple jump down the back straight on the women's 3000 meter steeplechase lined up. Sadly, I mentioned that Beatrice Chepngetich was a late withdrawal, so it leaves the way open, but a very, very good field. The second, third, fourth and fifth placed athletes from the World Championships are here, including Emma Coburn of the USA, former world champion, of course, in 2017, and then took the silver medal in 2019. And as we go down the line, Krause, who followed Coburn home. What a superb year she had in 2 years, 2018, 2019, and well last year as well. Not quite sure of her form this year. Yavi, who seems to have been around such a long time now. And then there you can see Kiyeng, former world champion in 2015. So we've got the world champion from 15, world champion from 17, and of course, two medalists from 2019 as well. So plenty to look forward to here. Even the likes of Chepngetich, who may not be such a well-known name, but has run under 9:10 for this distance in Monaco 2-3 years ago. So the women's steeplechase, just over 7.5 laps of the track. The water jump on the inside. They won't take that first time round, and the first barrier they'll have to face will be after they've covered just over 200 meters. So they still want to go out at a pretty decent pace, and that's they just need to be careful here, because without Chepngetich, who would have chased the pace, I'm pretty sure, as young Chirono heads off and Chiruto behind. The likes of Coburn and Kiyeng, be interested to see whether they want to take this on, whether they want to go for a quick time. They have been asked for around about a 9.6 to 9.8 sort of pace, and jostling just before they take that first barrier there. But so I think that's sensible. You know, anything maybe around about the 9.10 and see if you can finish quick.
Looking forward to seeing what Emma Coburn, what sort of shape she's in. It's her first steeple since the World Championships in this same city. She ran a 5,000 metre personal best back in February, and she paced Sifan Hassan to a 14.35 in California as well. It's her first time in the steeplechase this season, and she's just tucked what, about 5th or 6th, the tall, blonde, unmistakable figure of Emma Coburn.
Yeah, Colorado-based, and watched that race in pretty much a high school track in Irvine, California. Certainly looked in shape, and looked from the perspective of running a flat 3K. She did said I'm interested as well to see Krause. You know, she ran indoors, ran a couple of 1500s, a couple of other races, and would I think at times looked pretty good, but again, translating outdoors and what's happened since then, you know, how much training have they got, how the camp's gone since then. Coburn based at altitude. Krause likes to, not sure where she's been, normally likes to go to South Africa. As those two are heading off, nobody really interesting. Kiyeng and Yavi leading the pack. Coburn just happy to take a ride, if you like, early on here as the two pacemakers continue to set a pace which is good for them, but at the moment nobody in the field too interested.
Yeah, they've obviously decided just to ignore the pacemakers and just run their own race. And Yavi, it is, who's leading them out, but it's almost slow, doesn't it? It's almost pedestrian.
Well, I think once the break between the pack and the pacemaker is made, then you find yourself at the front of the pack, and there's just always a bit of uncertainty, and you can see there, you know, trying to look around. Kiyeng's wondering what's happening behind her. Where's everybody else? Does nobody want to kind of take this on? I'm effectively leading the race. I'm kind of the second pacemaker. So that's probably why, though. See, until you get the kilometre mark, because the water jump is on the inside and we're not getting straightforward laps, that's why. So the pack are doing a smart thing here. So very good pace judgment by the likes of Coburn and the others. They've gone through in about 3 minutes. The pace at the front too quick.
Yeah, too quick. Went through in about 2:55 first kilometre. They were asked for 3:02, so way too quick, and just shows you what that internal racing brain does. They know what 2:55 feels and what 3 minutes feels.
So Geruto will get swallowed up fairly soon, and then we've got this bunch of talent really, including a baby. We've talked many times, the Ethiopian here, how few really good Ethiopians have actually managed to make the proper good transition. The African junior champion from a few years back, still only 20, and won the All-African Games in 2019. So ran at altitude 9:51, but has decided she's going to try and stick with a more experienced Kiyeng. Coburn not quite sure what to do here, because those three are moving away. You got the pacemaker at the front. Geruto herself is a very good runner, but Kiyeng, Abebe, Yavi, Coburn knows that she'd love to get on the back, but the pace is pretty quick for this stage of the season. So she probably just hoped that they'll come back to her rather than trying to work too hard to try and give chase at this point, because she obviously feels as though she can't do that. So Kiyeng looking good, looking solid, and is going to swallow up Geruto pretty quickly here.
Well, she's not to be underestimated, Kiyeng. Former world champion, as we mentioned, in Beijing. Gosh, that's 6 years ago this year. It seems like yesterday she was taking the world title in front of a packed crowd, and that's how times have changed as well.
Yeah, the Olympic silver medalist from Rio seems so long ago, and Geruto's keeping this going here. She was asked to try and keep going as long as they could. I'm not even sure Geruto went to with the pace thinking, I'm going to keep going with this. I might be doing her a disservice here. I said in her own right, you know, 9-minute runner, she's certainly not pacing here. So Geruto, having gone off as hard as she did, settling in here, and I thought that Kiyeng was just going to go past her. Often when you come up to an athlete, the thing to do, but Geruto's responded, held the lead. The young Ethiopian, Abebe, still just having a little look behind as that gap to Yavi, and then Coburn just getting a little bit closer.
Yeah, difficult position for Coburn. Does she go, or does she tuck in and consolidate? And she just looks as though she's getting cut adrift here. She's going to have to work hard to get back to this trio in front of her.
Yeah, I think Kiyeng now deciding the time is to try and force the issue here with Geruto. A much slower kilometre, and we'd expected 6:02. So effectively, the others have run even pace, but Geruto after a 2:56 and then going through in 6:02. So 3:06 for her second kilometre, whereas the others ran about 3:1, 3:2 for the second kilometre. Krause just going through the picture there. Coburn will try and work to close the gap to Yavi, but we've got Geruto, Kiyeng and Abebe out in front here as they come around with 2 to go.
Well, one into the last kilometre now, and it's a tall order for Emma Coburn. Kiyeng just starting to stretch the elastic band here, just starting to wind things up. And these four well clear.
And Jarvi's made a great effort to get back on terms with these, as maybe they're just starting to look at each other. Pace just dropped a little bit again on that previous lap. So Geruto, Kiyeng, Abebe deciding, I'm not going to wait for a sprint here. My best chance might be to try and force this pace. All of them hurdling pretty well. Jarvi perhaps not with the best of the technique of the three of these. And technique, of course, when you're tired and you're trying to sprint, really does come into it in the steeplechase. So approaching the water jump for the penultimate time, Geruto still leading. Abebe now cut into the inside. Kiyeng and Jarvi, you have to hand it to Geruto. And again, my mistake for thinking because she went off with the pace, if they were pushing it, she has recovered and managed to pull herself back together despite that very quick first 1,000 meters and the rest of the field catching her. So we're taking the bell. Three women now. Jarvi once more just losing contact as the pace just starts to quicken as the pressure is applied. All three of them in unison taking that barrier. Next one as they head into the back straight. Abebe once more decides I'll cut in, just trying to look behind to see for any danger. Geruto, where she's been all the time, leading this. Kiyeng allowing her to do so as they head down the back straight. Another look behind from the young Ethiopian. No danger from Jarvi, and it doesn't look as though she thinks perhaps, or can she contest this? No room on the inside, needs to watch it. Got very tight to that barrier, baby, and lost momentum, lost distance as well. Geruto now 2 meters ahead, maybe 1.5 meters from Kiyeng. The Olympic silver medalist, the African Games champion from a few years ago, is leading it. Oh, and there she's gone. Kiyeng falls at the water jump. Geruto loses concentration. Kiyeng, and Geruto now has got the way clear. One more barrier for her to clear. Over it safely. Abebe takes second. Jarvi's in third at the moment, but it's going to be Geruto sprinting away close to 9 minutes, just outside. Abebe crossing the line, and that is a big performance from her. She takes a massive chunk off her time, or personal best before, and then a sprint there. You can see there Krause trying to hold off Mismas. Well, a race which started for Geruto as though she was going off at world record pace, almost looked as though she was helping the pacemaker. Then she slowed, the pack caught her, then the pressure came from Kiyeng in particular, and Abebe on the last lap. Kiyeng falters at the water jump. Geruto may have won it anyway. I think she looked good, and she certainly finished very strongly indeed, and ends up with a time just outside 9 minutes, and not only a personal best, but a new national record for the 20-year-old Abebe in second place.
Well, what a curious race. Geruto, I, like you, thought she was on pace-making duties, but went out really hard, was reeled in. That's unfortunate for Kiyeng there, but she did well to recover and still come home in fourth place, ahead of Emma Coburn, who incidentally came home in 9:08. And this is what can happen when you've got really tired legs. Cleared the barrier okay, but just landed awkwardly.
I think, yeah, I'm not sure that, because Geruto did a fantastic clearance on that barrier. That puts pressure on Kiyeng, doesn't it? Just did that split second, because she sees her competitor going over it, sailing over it, and both feet landed at the same time. And of course, one foot then is much lower than the other, given the slope of the water jump, and both coming into contact at exactly the same time, causing her to fall. Well, world lead and brilliant performance from Geruto. National records and personal bests in second and third place. Kiyeng 9.7 despite taking that dive. Coburn in fifth.
And the next event on the track will be the Rosefline women's 3000m Steeplechase. بالنسبة للسيدات. Featured athletes in this competition in 2016 Olympic bronze medalist and 2017 world champion from the United States, Emma Coburn. Also in the race, 2019 world championship bronze medalist representing Germany is Gesa Krause. And in the race, wearing it by 2015 world champion from India, Hyvin Kiyeng. Now, with the Rosefline women's